The SOS wasn't ignored. Deathworlders sent a fleet to the aliens. The screen showed a signal coming from a distant alien settlement in the sector they had been assigned to monitor. It was an SOS. Ethan rubbed his eyes. The signal was weak, distorted by light years of distance, but the message was clear. Someone was in trouble and they were calling for help. He looked over at Lieutenant Olivia Bennett, who was leaning against a console with her arms crossed. Her face was tense, her green eyes sharp with concern. "They're asking for help," Olivia said quietly. "We can't ignore this, Ethan, not us," Ethan sighed. "I know, Olivia, but Earth's fleet is months away. We're barely holding this outpost ourselves. If we move in, we could be walking into a trap." Olivia shook her head. "We can't just leave them to die. That's not who we are." Engineer Luke Carter, sitting at a terminal nearby, spun his chair around. "Captain, I can try to boost the signal and send a message to the Deathworlders. They won't ignore a distress call. If anyone can respond fast, it's them." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "The Deathworlders?" "You're serious? They're dangerous, Luke. We don't know if they'll even listen, and calling them could make things worse." Luke shrugged. "Or it could save lives. We don't have many options." Ethan leaned back in his chair, staring at the blinking red light. The human colony on the distant planet had always been isolated, but he had hoped it would remain peaceful. He had never imagined he would face a choice like this. Finally, he spoke. "Do it. Send the message, but keep it simple. Just tell them there is a settlement under attack and that we need help." Luke nodded and began typing furiously on his console. Lines of code and alien symbols appeared on the screen as he worked to translate the SOS and forward it to the Deathworlders. The small crew watched in tense silence, their eyes flicking between the screens and the observation window that looked out into the endless black of space. Minutes passed. Ethan tapped his fingers on the armrest. Every second felt like an hour. Finally, Luke leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. "It's sent," he said. "Now we wait," Olivia groaned. "Waiting is the worst part." Ethan nodded. "We don't even know if anyone received it, and even if they did, will they come?" The outpost was quiet except for the hum of machinery and the occasional beep of the consoles. Outside, stars glittered in the darkness. They were beautiful, but tonight they felt cold and distant. Suddenly, the monitors flickered. The signal from the alien settlement became clearer. Ethan leaned forward. He could make out shapes, small structures, and moving lights. And then he saw it, a fleet of strange, metallic ships descending on the settlement. They moved quickly and without hesitation, their formations precise and deadly. Olivia gasped. Who is that?" Ethan stared, his heart pounding. That has to be the Deathworlders." The ships landed, their engines kicking up dust and debris. From the observation window they could see soldiers, taller and stronger than any human, moving with precision and speed. Within minutes, the attacking aliens that had been terrorizing the settlement were being driven back. Luke whistled softly. "I can't believe it." They actually came. Ethan felt a mix of relief and awe. They didn't hesitate, they just went in, and they're fast, too fast for the attackers to react. Olivia's eyes were wide. "We should be scared of them, right? They're powerful, but they're saving lives. That's strange." Ethan nodded. "Yes, the Deathworlders are dangerous, but they also have a code. They respond to SOS signals. They respect courage and action. That's why they came." From the screen, Ethan could see Commander Kale, the Deathworlder leader, moving among his soldiers. His presence was imposing. He had a long, armored frame and eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light of the planet. He was calculating, precise, and terrifying. But there was no hesitation in his movements. Every action he took was deliberate, each strike efficient. He did not kill unnecessarily, but he eliminated every threat to the settlement with cold precision. Olivia whispered, "There, amazing." Ethan nodded again, silently agreeing. He had seen many species in his travels across the galaxy, but the Deathworlders were unlike any of them. They were ruthless killers, but they were also protectors when it suited their sense of order. As the battle continued, Ethan realized something. This was the first time humans were seeing the Deathworlders in action up close, and they were learning something important. Bravery, action, and purpose mattered even to beings far stronger than them. Luke pointed at the screen. "Captain, the attackers are retreating. It looks like the settlement is safe for now." Ethan exhaled slowly. "Good, but we can't relax yet. They'll come back if they feel revenge is necessary, and Earth is too far to intervene quickly. We have to prepare the settlement for whatever comes next." Olivia turned to him, her expression serious. "We need to help the aliens rebuild, Captain, and we need to earn their trust. They've seen our signal, but they don't know us. We have to show them humans can be allies, not just observers." Ethan nodded. "You're right. Let's get a team together and see what we can do." Luke smiled faintly. "I can work on repairing some of the defensive systems, maybe modify them so the aliens can hold their own if the attackers return." Ethan looked out at the settlement below. Smoke was rising from damaged buildings and small figures were moving among the ruins. They were scared, exhausted, but alive. And now, thanks to the Deathworlders and the courage to send a warning, they had a chance. "Let's not waste it," Ethan said quietly. The crew of Delta 7 spent the next few hours preparing for the arrival of the alien leaders. Ethan, Olivia, and Luke worked side by side, repairing communication systems, reinforcing walls, and coordinating with the Deathworlders to ensure the settlement remained secure. When the alien leaders finally arrived, they were cautious but grateful. They had never seen humans act so boldly, taking action without waiting for orders or safety. Ethan spoke through a translator, explaining the human decision to respond to their SOS and to contact the Deathworlders. One of the alien leaders, a tall figure with pale blue skin and delicate features, bowed slightly. "You have shown courage. Not many species would act so quickly. We are in your debt." Ethan smiled faintly. "We did what anyone should do. When someone calls for help, you answer. That's the way we see it." Olivia added, "And we're not done yet. We want to help you rebuild, and we want to make sure you're safe." The alien leader's eyes softened. "You are different from most humans we have encountered. Perhaps there is hope for the galaxy if your kind spreads courage and action." Ethan nodded. "We'll do what we can." As the night fell over the alien settlement, Ethan, Olivia, and Luke looked out at the stars. The Deathworlders had returned to their ships, standing watch silently but ever present. The humans had taken the first step toward proving themselves in a galaxy filled with dangerous species. Ethan placed a hand on the console, feeling the hum of the machines beneath his fingers. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "We've answered the call, but there's a lot more ahead. The SOS wasn't ignored and we're just getting started." Olivia smiled. "Then let's make sure we're ready for whatever comes next." Luke grinned. "With the Deathworlders watching our backs, I think we can handle almost anything." The three humans stood together, looking at the settlement and the stars beyond. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable. But they had proven one thing. Humans acted when it mattered most, and sometimes that courage could change the course of events in ways no one expected. Above them, the Deathworlder fleet glimmered in the darkness of space, silent and powerful. And somewhere in the distance, the attackers were regrouping, unaware that the humans and their strange allies were now ready for what came next. Ethan took a deep breath. "Let them come. We'll be ready." The night was quiet again, but it was a quiet full of determination. The SOS had been answered, and the humans of Delta 7 had made their mark on the galaxy. And this was only the first chapter of a story that would spread across stars, showing everyone that even the smallest human outpost could make a difference when courage led the way. The alien settlement was quiet now, but tension still hung in the air. Smoke rose from the damaged buildings, and small fires burned where the attackers had struck. Ethan Gray, Lieutenant Olivia Bennett and Engineer Luke Carter moved carefully through the streets, making sure the civilians were safe and unharmed. From the observation window of Delta 7, Ethan could see the Deathworlder ships hovering above the planet. Their silhouettes were massive, black and angular, casting long shadows across the ground. They did not move like humans or most alien species. Every movement was deliberate, precise, and controlled. Ethan's hand rested on the console as he spoke. "They're still out there, watching. We need to keep them informed if anything changes." Olivia glanced at him. "Do you think they trust us yet?" "I don't know," Ethan admitted. "But right now they respect action. That's the first step." Luke pointed at the screen. "Look, they're sending a landing team. We can see their soldiers descending. That's Commander Kale at the front." The Deathworlders moved like shadows over the settlement. They didn't run or panic. They didn't hesitate. Every alien attacker left alive was quickly rounded up or neutralized. The settlement civilians stared from behind barricades and walls, fear and awe on their faces. Ethan, Olivia, and Luke walked carefully toward the central square. They wanted to meet the Deathworlders, but they also wanted to make sure their presence did not cause confusion or alarm. Commander Kale stepped forward, his armored frame imposing. His eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, and his movements were both graceful and intimidating. Ethan swallowed, trying to hide his nervousness. He had studied the Deathworlders for years, but meeting one in person was different. Kale's voice was deep and commanding. "Humans," he said in careful, precise words that were translated by the universal translator. "You sent the warning. You acted without orders. That is unusual." Ethan stepped forward. "We could not ignore a call for help. Lives were at stake. Someone had to act." Kale's glowing eyes scanned him. "Courage is noted. Many species hesitate. They wait. They calculate. You acted. That is why we responded." Olivia moved closer to Ethan, her eyes studying Kale. "Will you stay to protect them?" she asked. Kale tilted his head. "We remain as long as necessary. The attackers are persistent. They will return. You may assist if you wish. We observe humans with interest. You are different." Luke whispered more to himself than anyone else. "Different, that's one way to put it. They mean business." Ethan nodded, feeling both awe and responsibility. "We'll do what we can to help the settlement, but we need guidance. We don't know their full capabilities or their weaknesses." Kale's gaze swept the settlement. "Weakness is a human concept. Strength is ours to measure. But you humans, you act with purpose. That can be dangerous to those who underestimate you." Olivia glanced at the damaged buildings. "We should start by helping the civilians, rebuild what we can, make the settlement safe again." Kale made a motion with his hand. Several of his soldiers moved to cover the perimeter, ensuring the humans could work safely. Ethan, Olivia, and Luke got to work, helping clear debris, repair walls, and calm frightened civilians. Hours passed. Humans and Deathworlders moved in tandem, a strange but effective team. The Deathworlders worked silently, their efficiency unmatched. Every task they took on was done with perfection. The humans adapted, learning from the alien methods, and combining them with their own creativity and problem-solving skills. Luke discovered a broken energy relay and immediately began working on it. "If I reroute the power through these nodes, we can create a defensive grid around the settlement. It won't be permanent, but it will give the civilians time if the attackers return." Ethan watched him work. "Good thinking, Luke. Use whatever you need." Olivia organized the civilians. "Make sure they know where to go if danger comes again." Olivia nodded. "Yes, Captain. Let's make sure they feel safe." As the day went on, the humans began to notice something remarkable. The Deathworlders were not just fighters. They observed human creativity with a kind of cautious respect. When Luke modified a device or Ethan suggested a plan, the Deathworlders didn't dismiss it. They paused, studied the idea, and sometimes even adjusted their own approach. Kale approached Ethan in the late afternoon. "Your species adapts quickly. We have observed you in combat, but your ingenuity, it is unusual. Most would rely solely on strength. You rely on thought. That can be effective." Ethan felt a surge of pride. "We do what we must. Thinking fast and acting fast saves lives. That's what humans do." Kale's glowing eyes seemed to study him more closely. "Perhaps we have underestimated you. Perhaps humans are more than their appearance suggests. You act without hesitation, without fear. That is valuable." Meanwhile, Olivia moved among the civilians, speaking softly and reassuringly. She helped them move to safer areas, explained how the defenses worked, and even taught some of the older children to assist with small tasks. Their eyes shone with hope for the first time since the attack began. Luke finished the energy relay modifications and tested the system. Sparks flew briefly before settling into a steady hum. "It works," he said proudly. "We've got a protective field around the settlement. If they attack again, it will buy us time," Kale observed silently. "You are bold. Do not mistake boldness for recklessness, but it is effective." The sun began to set over the settlement, painting the sky in shades of red and gold. Ethan, Olivia, and Luke stood together, looking out over the buildings and the civilians who were slowly returning to a sense of normalcy. The Deathworlders continued their patrols, silent and ever watchful. Ethan spoke quietly. "They came because of our action. If we had waited, none of this would have happened." Olivia nodded. "Sometimes courage is all it takes. One small decision can change everything." Luke smiled. "I never thought I'd see humans and Deathworlders working together like this, but here we are." As night fell, Commander Kale approached Ethan once more. "There is more to come. The attackers are not finished. They will test the settlement again. You and your humans, you must be ready. We will assist, but your courage will be the key." Ethan straightened. "We'll be ready. We've seen what happens when we act. We'll protect them." Kale nodded slightly, then turned and moved to join his soldiers. Ethan watched him go, feeling the weight of responsibility. The night was quiet, but the stars above reminded him that the galaxy was vast and full of dangers. Olivia placed a hand on his shoulder. "We've done what we can for now. Tomorrow we'll continue rebuilding, and we'll be ready for whatever comes." Ethan took a deep breath. "Yes. And the Deathworlders, we've earned a measure of respect. That's important. If they see humans as capable, maybe other species will too." Luke laughed softly. "Humans are full of surprises. That's why they sent us." The night deepened. Fires from the damaged buildings flickered gently, casting shadows across the streets. The civilians were settling into temporary shelters, tired but safe. Ethan looked out at the hovering Deathworlder ships. Their dark forms were still visible against the stars, a constant reminder of the power and mystery of the species they had called for help. He turned to Olivia and Luke. "We've made it through the first test, but this is only the beginning. The attackers will return, and we need to be ready. Humans have to show the galaxy that we act when others hesitate." Olivia nodded. "And we will. No matter what comes next, we won't back down." Luke smiled. "With the Deathworlders watching, I think we have a chance. Let them come." Ethan looked back at the settlement, at the people they were protecting, and at the stars beyond. "Tomorrow we prepare. Tonight we rest. But we will not forget this. The SOS was answered, and we have made our mark. The galaxy is watching, and we're ready to prove what humans can do." The stars shone above the settlement, quiet and distant, but full of possibilities. The humans of Delta 7 had acted with courage, and for the first time, they felt the weight of their choices and the hope that even a small group could change the course of events in a dangerous galaxy. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the Deathworlders remained vigilant, silent guardians who had seen the strength and determination of humans. They would not forget this either. For the humans, it was only the first night. The battles, the challenges, and the tests of courage were far from over. But they had taken the first step, and in doing so, they had begun to write a story that would echo across the stars. The sun rose slowly over the alien settlement, painting the damaged buildings in soft gold light. Smoke from the previous attack still drifted through the streets, but the humans and Deathworlders worked tirelessly to repair the damage. Captain Ethan Gray, Lieutenant Olivia Bennett, and Engineer Luke Carter moved among the civilians, helping wherever they could. Ethan glanced at the observation monitors in the outpost. From there, he could see the Deathworlder patrols moving silently along the edges of the settlement. They were always present, always vigilant, but the humans could see that they were also watching the humans. Their glowing eyes followed every movement, observing how humans worked, how humans solved problems, how humans acted under pressure. Olivia knelt beside a group of alien children, showing them how to carry supplies safely. "Take it slow," she said gently. "You have to balance it. Good, that's it." The children giggled and tried again, careful not to drop the boxes. Ethan walked over to Luke, who was crouched near a broken energy relay, wires and sparks scattered around him. "What are you doing?" Ethan asked. Luke smiled without looking up. "I'm modifying their energy system. If I reroute the power, we can create a protective shield around the settlement. It won't stop a massive attack, but it will give the civilians time to evacuate and give the defenders an advantage." Ethan nodded. "Good, we need every advantage we can get." Luke worked quickly, using both human and alien tools, combining knowledge from both species. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and finally the system hummed steadily. "It's ready," he said proudly. "The shield is online." Olivia clapped her hands softly. "That's amazing, Luke. This will save lives if the attackers return." From above, the Deathworlders watched silently. Commander Kale moved along the streets, inspecting the repairs. His eyes glowed faintly as he observed the humans. Ethan noticed the way Kale tilted his head, almost as if studying them. Kale stopped in front of Ethan. "Your species adapts quickly. You observe, you think, and you act. That is unusual. Most species rely only on strength or numbers. You rely on thought. That is effective." Ethan bowed his head slightly. "We do what we must. Thinking and acting fast saves lives. That is how humans survive." Kale's gaze lingered. "You have potential, but potential without caution can be dangerous. Remember this. You act boldly, but always consider the consequences." Ethan nodded. "Understood. We'll be careful." As the day passed, more aliens arrived at the settlement, coming out of hiding or fleeing from other attacks. They were cautious, unsure if humans could be trusted, but they saw the humans working tirelessly to repair what had been broken. Slowly, trust began to grow. Olivia moved among the alien families, learning their language through simple phrases and gestures. She laughed softly with the children, helped the elders carry supplies, and made sure everyone had food and water. The aliens began to see humans not as invaders, not as strangers, but as allies. Luke continued to work on modifying alien technology. He connected energy relays, repaired damaged vehicles, and even adjusted some of the alien weapons so the civilians could defend themselves if needed. His hands moved with precision, and the Deathworlders watched him carefully, noting his creativity and problem-solving skills. Ethan coordinated defenses with Kale. "If the attackers return," he said, "we need to control the perimeter, use the high ground, block the main roads, and make sure civilians are safe." Kale nodded. "Your strategy is logical. Humans think differently from most species." "That is valuable." By late afternoon, the settlement looked stronger than it had in weeks. Buildings were reinforced, walls repaired, and energy shields hummed quietly around key areas. Civilians moved more freely now, their fear replaced with cautious hope. Ethan called Olivia and Luke to the command center. "We need a plan for the worst-case scenario. The attackers will return. We can't rely solely on the Deathworlders. Humans and aliens must be ready." Olivia looked at him. "I've been working with the civilians. They can help too." "They're learning quickly. Even children can assist in small ways. Every hand matters, Luke added, and I've modified the defensive systems. We can create traps and obstacles for the attackers. We can slow them down and give our allies the advantage. Ethan smiled faintly. Good. Humans always find a way. We act when others hesitate, and that's why we survive. Let's show the galaxy that courage and ingenuity matter. Kale approached again, silent until he spoke. Your species is unpredictable. You act with courage and thought. That combination is rare. It is respected. Ethan met his gaze. We don't act for respect. We act because it's the right thing to do, but it is good to know others see our actions as valuable. As the sun set, a calm fell over the settlement. Fires burned in controlled areas, and shadows stretched long across the streets. Ethan, Olivia, and Luke stood together, watching the Deathworlders patrol silently, their forms dark and imposing against the twilight sky. Olivia whispered, "Do you think the attackers will come back tonight?" Ethan shook his head. "Not tonight, but soon. They will test us again. That is their way, and we need to be ready." Luke grinned. "With the shield, the defenses, and the civilians ready, I think we can handle them." Ethan looked out over the settlement, feeling a mixture of pride and responsibility. This is more than just survival. Humans, aliens, and Deathworlders working together. It's a start. A start to something bigger. Suddenly, a faint tremor shook the ground. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "That's not normal." Luke checked his instruments. "Something is coming, not the previous attackers, something new, faster, stronger." Olivia grabbed Ethan's arm. "We need to prepare everyone. Now." Ethan ran to the communication console. "All personnel prepare for potential attack. Civilians take shelter. Deathworlders patrol positions." The settlement's alarm system blared, a warning to everyone. Humans and aliens moved quickly, securing barricades, checking energy shields, and preparing weapons. Luke worked frantically to reinforce weak points in the defense grid. Kale appeared, his presence commanding attention. "The enemy approaches. Humans, act with courage." "You are capable, trust in yourselves." Ethan nodded. "We will, we've prepared for this, let them come." From the horizon, distant ships appeared, moving faster than anything the humans had seen before. They were the attackers, regrouped and reinforced. Their numbers were larger and their weapons more powerful, but the humans and their allies did not falter. Olivia directed civilians to shelters, calming their fears. Luke activated defensive systems, adjusting energy shields and traps. Ethan coordinated the perimeter with Kale, planning their strategy down to the last detail. As the first attackers came into view, Ethan felt a surge of determination. "This is our chance. Humans do not back down. We act, we fight, and we survive." The battle was about to begin. And in that moment, humans, aliens, and Deathworlders stood together, ready to face the challenge with courage, ingenuity, and trust. The galaxy would soon learn that even the smallest group of humans could make a difference when they acted with purpose. The first light of dawn crept over the alien settlement. The previous night had been tense but calm, giving the humans and their allies time to prepare. Captain Ethan Gray, Lieutenant Olivia Bennett, and Engineer Luke Carter moved quickly through the streets, checking barricades and ensuring civilians were safe. The Deathworlders were already in position, their black armored forms standing silently on the high ground. Commander Kale observed the preparations, his glowing eyes scanning the horizon. The attackers were coming back, faster and stronger than before, and the humans knew this battle would test them in ways they had never imagined. Ethan addressed his team. "Today we show them what humans can do. We'll fight, we'll protect these people, and we'll use everything we have. Remember, think fast, act fast, and trust each other. That's our strength." Olivia nodded. "We've trained for this. Civilians are in shelters and our defenses are ready. We can do this." Luke checked the energy grid one last time. "All systems online, shields active, traps ready. Let's give them a surprise they won't forget." From the horizon, the first attackers appeared, their ships glinting in the morning sun. They moved with deadly precision, their weapons aimed at the settlement. Ethan's heart pounded, but he did not falter. Humans did not back down. "Attackers incoming," shouted Olivia. "Take your positions." The humans and Deathworlders took their posts. Ethan manned a defensive turret, while Luke oversaw the energy shields and traps. Olivia coordinated the civilians, ensuring everyone stayed safe. Commander Kale moved among his soldiers, signaling them silently to prepare for the enemy. The first wave of attackers hit the outer perimeter. Their ships fired energy blasts, and alien soldiers landed on the ground. But the humans were ready. Energy shields flared, deflecting attacks, while traps slowed the advancing enemies. Luke grinned. "They're walking right into our trap, just like we planned." Ethan fired the turret, taking down several attackers with precise shots. "Keep moving, cover each other," he shouted. Olivia moved among the defenders, directing them where they were needed most. She helped an injured alien soldier to safety and handed weapons to humans and aliens alike. "Hold the line. We can do this." The Deathworlders were ruthless and efficient. They eliminated attackers with precision, their movements quick and deadly. But they allowed the humans to act, observing and respecting their courage. Ethan realized that the Deathworlders valued not only strength but also intelligence and bravery. The battle intensified. The attackers regrouped and tried to flank the settlement, but Ethan anticipated their move. He signaled Luke, who activated a hidden energy field that cut off one of the enemy's paths. The attackers were forced into a narrow corridor, where the Deathworlders and humans could deal with them more effectively. "Perfect," Ethan muttered. "This is exactly what we needed." Olivia spotted a group of attackers trying to sneak into the settlement. She grabbed a plasma rifle and ran, firing carefully. "Back off," she shouted. "You're not taking them." The alien civilians cheered quietly from their shelters. Seeing humans fight alongside Deathworlders gave them hope. They whispered among themselves that perhaps humans were stronger and braver than they had imagined. Luke activated a set of traps he had modified overnight. Energy nets shot out, ensnaring enemy soldiers and slowing their advance. Sparks flew and the attackers stumbled, giving the humans and Deathworlders the advantage they needed. Ethan shouted orders. "Concentrate fire here. Don't let them break through." Commander Kale moved alongside Ethan, his presence both terrifying and reassuring. "Humans fight well, courage is your strength, but do not overextend, trust in your allies." Ethan nodded. "We've got this, Kale, together we're unstoppable." The attackers launched their second wave, larger and more organized. They fired massive energy beams that struck the settlement, shaking buildings and knocking debris into the streets. Humans and Deathworlders responded quickly, using shields, traps, and strategic counterattacks to keep the enemy at bay. Olivia helped evacuate civilians from the damaged buildings, leading them to safer areas. She saw a young alien child trapped under rubble and rushed to lift it free. "You're safe now," she whispered, carrying the child to a secure shelter. Luke worked furiously on the energy systems, rerouting power to shields and turrets. "We can hold them," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Just a little longer," the battle raged on. Aliens attacking the settlement were relentless, but the humans and Deathworlders fought with unmatched coordination. Humans used clever tactics, thinking quickly, adapting to every new threat. Deathworlders struck with precision, eliminating key targets and ensuring the humans had time to act. Ethan realized something important as he fought. Humans did not rely solely on strength or technology. They used creativity, quick thinking, and teamwork. That combination, he knew, made them dangerous in ways the attackers could not predict. Olivia fired at a group of enemies trying to break through a barricade. "Keep moving. We won't let them take this settlement." The civilians, inspired by the bravery of the humans and Deathworlders, joined in small ways, moving supplies, assisting the injured, and helping to relay messages. Every action mattered. Every hand made a difference. Luke activated another set of traps, sending attackers flying into nets and energy fields. "Got you," he shouted, smiling. "Humans never give up." Commander Kale approached Ethan again, his eyes glowing faintly. "You have proven yourself. Humans are unpredictable, courageous, and clever. These qualities, they make you valuable allies." Ethan wiped sweat from his brow. "We do what we must. It's the only way to survive and protect others." The attackers began to retreat, their forces scattered and weakened by the coordinated defense. Humans and Deathworlders did not let up, pursuing them carefully to ensure they could not regroup for another attack. Olivia helped a group of civilians out of a damaged building. "You're safe now," she said. "We won't let anyone harm you." Luke monitored the energy systems, adjusting shields and traps to cover weak points. "They're retreating, but we can't relax yet. We need to be ready if they come back." Ethan surveyed the battlefield. The settlement was battered but intact. Humans, Deathworlders, and aliens stood together, victorious. He felt a sense of pride and relief. "Good work," he said to Olivia and Luke. "We've held them off, but this is only the beginning. The attackers will regroup." "We must remain vigilant." Kale nodded, his armor glinting in the sunlight. "Your species fights with courage and intelligence. That is rare. You have earned respect today. Remember this lesson. Action and thought together create strength." Ethan smiled faintly. "We will remember. And we will continue to protect those who cannot protect themselves." The civilians emerged from their shelters, cheering quietly for the humans and Deathworlders who had defended them. They had seen bravery, clever thinking, and teamwork in action. For the first time in weeks, they felt hope. Olivia approached Ethan, her eyes shining. "We did it. We saved them." Ethan nodded. "Yes, but the galaxy is full of dangers. This victory is important, but we must be ready for what comes next. Humans do not stop. We act. We survive. And we protect others." Luke grinned. "With courage, brains, and a little luck, humans can face anything, and we'll prove that again and again." As the sun rose higher, the settlement was quiet once more. The attackers had been defeated, at least for now. Humans, Deathworlders, and aliens worked together to repair damage, care for the injured, and fortify defenses. Ethan looked up at the sky, where the Deathworlder fleet hovered silently. They had fought with precision and allowed the humans to prove their value. It was a moment of trust, respect, and understanding between species. "This is more than survival," Ethan said quietly to Olivia and Luke. "This is the beginning of something greater. Humans can make a difference, even in the darkest places of the galaxy." Olivia smiled. "And we will. We've proven it today, and we'll prove it again when the next challenge comes." Luke looked out at the horizon where the last enemy ships had disappeared. "They'll be back, but we'll be ready. Humans never give up. That's who we are." Ethan placed a hand on the console, feeling the hum of the machines beneath his fingers. "We've shown courage, intelligence, and teamwork. The SOS was answered and lives were saved, and the galaxy will remember this day. Humanity has made its mark." Commander Kale approached once more, his glowing eyes studying Ethan. "Humans are capable of great action. You are unpredictable and courageous. That combination is dangerous to your enemies. Do not forget it." Ethan nodded. "We won't. We'll continue to act, to protect, and to survive. That is what humans do." The day ended with the settlement intact, civilians safe, and humans, aliens, and Deathworlders standing together. It had been a fierce battle, but it had also been a lesson. Courage, ingenuity, and teamwork could overcome even the greatest challenges. And in the distance, beyond the stars, new dangers awaited. But humans were ready. They had fought, they had survived, and they had proven that even against overwhelming odds, they could make a difference. The galaxy was watching, and humanity had shown it was a force to be reckoned with. The alien settlement lay quiet under the morning sun, the dust of battle settling over the repaired streets. Humans, Deathworlders, and aliens moved among the buildings, checking on the wounded, repairing what had been damaged, and making the settlement safe once more. Captain Ethan Gray stood on a small rise overlooking the town. Lieutenant Olivia Bennett was beside him, and Engineer Luke Carter adjusted a communications array nearby. From this vantage point, they could see the Deathworlder ships hovering silently above, their dark forms casting long shadows over the streets. Ethan took a deep breath. "It's over for now," Olivia nodded. "The attackers have been driven off. The civilians are safe. We did it." Luke looked out at the distant horizon. "And the Deathworlders stayed with us. They watched, they learned, and they didn't interfere unnecessarily. They respected us." Ethan turned his gaze to Commander Kale, who approached, his tall armored frame moving silently across the settlement. The glowing eyes of the Deathworlder leader studied Ethan and the humans who had fought so courageously. "You have proven yourselves," Kale said slowly. "Humans are capable of great action. You think quickly, act boldly, and adapt in ways most species cannot. That is admirable." Ethan straightened. "We did what we had to do. Lives were at stake. We couldn't stand by and watch." Kale's gaze swept the settlement. "You acted without hesitation. You earned the respect of the Deathworlders. You earned the trust of the aliens. Few species can accomplish both." Olivia stepped forward. "We couldn't have done it without you, Kale. Your soldiers' strength and precision helped save lives." Kale inclined his head slightly. "Strength is meaningless without purpose. Your species has shown purpose. That is why you survive. That is why you are valuable." The humans looked around at the settlement. Alien families were emerging from shelters, cautious but smiling. Children played near repaired buildings, and elders moved with confidence, carrying supplies and helping to rebuild. The humans felt a deep satisfaction, knowing that their courage had inspired hope. Luke adjusted a final energy shield, ensuring the perimeter was secure. "Everything is stabilized now. If they attack again, we'll be ready." Ethan looked at him with pride. "You've done well, Luke. Your modifications saved lives. The energy grids, the traps, the defensive shields, they all made a difference." Luke grinned. "It's what humans do. We adapt, we think fast, we act when it matters." Olivia moved among the civilians, checking on the wounded and comforting the frightened. She spoke to a small group of alien children, teaching them how to carry supplies safely and how to respond if danger returned. "You're safe now," she said gently. "Humans and Deathworlders are watching. We won't let anyone hurt you." The aliens looked at her with a mixture of gratitude and awe. For the first time, they saw humans not as strangers or invaders but as protectors, allies, and friends. Ethan joined them. "We may be different species, but courage is universal. When one acts with courage, others notice. That is how civilizations survive. That is how peace is built, even in the darkest places." Kale's glowing eyes studied Ethan carefully. "Your species is unpredictable but effective. You act without hesitation. That is dangerous to your enemies. They cannot predict humans, and they should fear it." Ethan smiled faintly. "We don't fight to be feared, we fight to protect. But if that also makes us strong, then we will use it wisely." As the day passed, the settlement began to return to normal. Humans helped rebuild homes, repair damaged vehicles, and train the alien civilians in defensive measures. Luke demonstrated new energy systems that could detect approaching threats and alert defenders in time. Olivia worked with the children and families, teaching them safety and teamwork. The Deathworlders remained vigilant but did not interfere. They observed the humans and aliens working together, silent witnesses to the growing respect and cooperation between the species. Ethan watched them from the command post. "They're watching us, but they're not here to fight. They're observing. They see what humans can do." "That matters." Olivia leaned on the railing beside him. "It's strange, isn't it? Dangerous, powerful aliens like the Deathworlders respecting humans, and yet it feels good to know they do." Ethan nodded. "It's not about feeling good, it's about recognition. We've shown that humans act with courage, intelligence, and purpose. That matters across the galaxy. Luke joined them, wiping sweat from his brow. The attackers won't be gone forever, but now they know humans won't wait. We act, we protect, and we survive. A small group of alien leaders approached. Their expressions were cautious but respectful. One of them, a pale, blue-skinned figure with delicate features, bowed slightly. "Humans," he said softly, "you have shown courage and wisdom. You did not wait for instructions. You acted when others would hesitate. You have earned our trust." Ethan inclined his head. "We did what was necessary. That is how humans survive, and that is how we protect others." The alien leader smiled faintly. "Perhaps there is hope for the galaxy if your kind continues to act with courage and wisdom." Olivia stepped forward. "We will continue to help. This settlement is safe now, and we will ensure it remains that way." Kale watched silently, then spoke. "Humans are capable of more than most species. You act with purpose. You think quickly. You fight bravely. Remember this, your actions today will be remembered and your courage will be respected." Ethan met Kale's gaze. "We will not forget, and we will continue to act." That is what humans do. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the settlement, Ethan, Olivia, and Luke stood together, looking at the humans, aliens, and Deathworlders working side by side. The settlement was stronger, safer, and more united than it had ever been. Olivia spoke softly. "We've done more than survive. We've inspired hope. That's as important as any battle," Luke smiled. "And we've proven that humans are not just survivors. We are fighters, protectors, and allies. That's something no one can ignore." Ethan nodded. "The galaxy will see it. Humans act when others hesitate. Humans protect when others flee. Humans survive when others fail. And sometimes that makes all the difference." Kale approached one last time. "The attackers have been defeated, at least for now. You have earned respect, humans, not just from the Deathworlders but from all who witnessed your courage. Do not forget this lesson. Action and purpose matter more than numbers or strength alone." Ethan bowed slightly. "We will remember. And we will continue to act wherever help is needed." As the Deathworlders departed, their ships rising into the sky, the humans watched silently. They had fought bravely, defended the helpless, and earned the respect of one of the galaxy's most feared species. The alien civilians cheered softly, waving to their human protectors. They had seen courage, ingenuity, and determination in action. For them, humans had become symbols of hope. Olivia turned to Ethan and Luke. "We did it. We've saved them, and we've earned their trust." Ethan smiled faintly. "Yes, but this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast and dangerous, but humans are ready. We act, we survive, and we protect." Luke laughed softly. "With courage, brains, and a little stubbornness, humans can face anything. And we'll prove it again when the next challenge comes." As night fell, the settlement rested under the watchful eyes of the stars. Humans, aliens, and Deathworlders had fought together, and a fragile peace settled over the planet. The SOS had been answered, lives had been saved, and humanity had made its mark. Ethan looked up at the sky, feeling the weight and pride of the day. This is how humans show the galaxy who we are. Not through fear, not through strength alone, but through courage, action, and purpose. Olivia smiled. "And we've shown that even in the darkest moments, humans act when others hesitate. That's what makes us different." Luke nodded. "And that's what makes us dangerous to those who harm the innocent. But to those who need help, humans are allies they can trust." Ethan placed his hand on the console, feeling the hum of the outpost beneath his fingers. "The galaxy is watching. And humanity has shown it is a force to be reckoned with. Today we acted. Today we survived. And today we protected those who could not protect themselves." The stars shone above the settlement, quiet and distant but full of possibility. Humans had proven that even a small outpost could change the course of events, inspire hope, and earn respect across the galaxy. And somewhere beyond the stars, other species would take note. Humans acted when others hesitated. Humans fought when others fled. Humans survived when others failed. And sometimes that was enough to change the galaxy forever. Ethan looked at Olivia and Luke. We've answered the SOS. We've saved lives. And we've shown the galaxy what humans can do. That's a victory worth remembering. Olivia nodded. And we'll continue to do it. Wherever help is needed, wherever lives are at stake, humans will act. That's who we are. Luke grinned. Then let the galaxy watch. Humanity has arrived, and we're just getting started. The night settled over the settlement, peaceful and calm. Humans, aliens, and Deathworlders rested, knowing that courage, ingenuity, and teamwork had won the day. And the story of the SOS that wasn't ignored would echo across the stars for generations to come.